start by paying our great respects to Pearl Harbor. We don't want that stuff. We don't want World Trade Centers. We don't want that ever happening to us again. It's not going to happen. So I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a great honor. There are thousands of people outside. And sometimes I'll say, would you like to wait about an hour until they all come in? But we can't get them in anyway, so what difference? We all got lucky we're together tonight. Thank you. So we had a lot of big news today. To me, very big was CNN just came out with a new poll about an hour ago in Iowa. Great, great state. And in Iowa, Trump, 33%. Beating everybody by a lot. You have Cruz at 20 and Carson at 16 and going down, and Rubio at 11 and Bush at 4, but it's Trump at 33, just came out. That's Iowa. We love Iowa. By the way, great ship. Named after Iowa, too, right? I've been with that one, too. A really great one. The other big poll that came out just 2 days ago was the national poll. Trump 36. And then I won't even mention the other numbers because they're so low. You know, when you have so many people running, we had 17, and then they started to drop. Ding, ding. I love it. I love it. And you'll be losing a lot over the next little while. I would imagine. I don't know. When somebody's down at 0, I would think that eventually they'll drop out. The only problem is there's nothing to pick up if they're at 0, right? What do you pick up? So anyway, but you'll see that. One of the things I think so important, because to me, very important, in the same poll, which is the big national CNN poll, on the economy, so important, Trump, 55%. Everyone else, nothing. On the budget, I'm really good at these things. Economy, budget, so I sort of expected this. On the budget, Trump, this is with 15 people remaining. Trump, 51%. Everyone else, ding. Oh, here's one that I started, and I took a lot of heat. Sort of like the one we're talking about today. I guess you've heard a little bit about it. But I've taken a lot of heat on this one. Illegal immigration. Now, had I not brought that up in Trump Tower in June when I announced that I was going to run for president, which takes courage to run for president, believe me. You know, all of my life I've heard that if you're a successful person, especially if you're very successful, you've done a lot of things, a lot of deals, a lot of everything, you can't run for president. And yet that's the kind of mindset and thinking this country needs. We're being run by people that don't know what they're doing. Very sad. But illegal immigration, Trump, 48%. That's with 15 people. Everyone else, no good. On a thing called ISIS. You ever know ISIS? Oh, don't worry, we have plenty. We'll talk a lot about ISIS. Can you believe it? Here we have generals. They go on television and talk. They do all talk. You people, a lot of military people here today. Who's military here? All right, I love you. By the way, speaking of it, we're going to make our military so strong, so powerful, so great. Nobody's ever going to mess with us again. Nobody. They're never going to mess with us. You know, in many ways, it's the cheapest thing we can do. The cheapest thing, instead of fighting these wars that we don't know what we're doing and we have leaders that are afraid to do anything, we're going to make it so great, so strong, that people, they're not messing, and we're going to take care of our great vets, our wounded warriors. We're going to take care of them. Because they are not being taken care of. We have illegal immigrants that are taken care of better than our incredible veterans, and it's not going to happen any longer. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So with ISIS, Trump 46%. Can you imagine that with all of these characters running? On foreign policy, Trump way up. And, you know, in theory, you could say, well, maybe it's not my thing, but people want to see strong, they want to see strength, they want to see protection, they want to be protected. And that's it. I watched last night, and I watched a president, truly, that didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know why he was there. He refuses to use the term radical, Islamic, terrorism. He refuses to use the term. I don't even know if he knows what the hell's going on. I really don't. And then we're looking at Hillary Clinton. And honestly, I know Hillary. It's just going to be an extension of Obama. I think maybe worse. She's got no strength. She's got no stamina. Remember that. You don't need a president with no strength or stamina when we're being ripped off on trade, we're being ripped off on Obamacare, which is going to be repealed and replaced by something really good. When our soldiers aren't being taken care of, when our military has never been like it is today. One of the generals was on television, as usual, saying that we're the least prepared now than any time that he's ever seen it, and he's been there a long time retiring. That's how we are. In the most dangerous world we've ever had, because of the power of weapons, we have people that don't know, they don't have it. I'm telling you, I watch them. I watch these generals being interviewed. Do you think General George Patton would be interviewed? Do you think they do the work? They'll be interviewed after total and complete victory. General Douglas MacArthur, they're not big for interview. You know, they shoot first, they talk later. These guys, and I don't think we'll have to. You know, just so you understand, Bush, he said yesterday, he was being interviewed, he said that he was talking about me. He was saying the nicest things about me. Of course, he said he'll be elected. He said, what, 3%, right? No, but he said some things that was like, I said, who says that about an opponent? You don't say those things. You'll find out what he said. But he said very nice things. But if you look at what happens where he is upset with me because he says the tone of Donald Trump is not nice. And I say it all the time. We have people whose heads are being chopped off in the Middle East because they're Christian and for other reasons. They're being dunked and drowned in steel cages. And we talk about my tone. Hillary said the same thing. Mr. Trump's tone is not nice. These people are living in a different planet. Different planet. And remember what I said about Hillary. We need somebody who's strong. We need somebody with incredible energy, but incredible intelligence and all of those things. You know, I know a lot of tough people, but they're not smart. That's no good. They're easy. We need tough, we need smart, we need like every character. We are so far behind the 8 ball in this country. We owe 19 trillion. The budget they signed 2 weeks ago is going to make it 21 trillion. It's think of it, trillion dollars. Who the hell ever heard of the word 10 years ago? There was no such word. We owe $21 trillion in the very near future. We're really in trouble. We have to rebuild our country. We have to rebuild our infrastructure. We have to rebuild our military. And yet, we do deals with China where there's a trade imbalance of over $400 billion a year. In their favor, by the way, in case you had any question. Japan, they send the cars by the millions. $70 billion a year imbalance. That's like a loss. You look at Mexico. We're going to build a wall. It will be a real wall. It will be a real wall. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. the people I'm dealing with. And, I really focus on Hillary later because I have to get through these 15 people. There's 15 of us. I had Perry came at me strong. He went down. I had Governor Walker, nice guy. He went down. Every guy that attacks me so far, they've all gone down. We got to keep it that way, right? I mean, Lindsey Graham he's got 0. He's at 0. 0. Think of it. Let me ask you a question. I don't get Lindsey Graham. I don't get him. He's little. He says, we don't either. He's literally at 0. You see it. And he keeps talking. He gets so much television. I mean, he's on television all the time. And he doesn't go up. He's at 0, folks. His ideas are so bad. I'm more militaristic than him. But I know how to win. He doesn't. He wants to just attack everything. He doesn't know where the hell. And he always sits with John McCain. It's like they're the Bobbsey twins. They're always sitting together. No, it's true. Do you ever notice? Sometime I want to see him by himself. He's always sitting with John McCain, who's fine. I'm not knocking it, but you got to know what to do. Now, I was against the war in Iraq. So everyone says, oh, you have the right temper. I have a great temperament. But you got to attack. If you're going to do something, you got to know what you're doing. I said, if you attack Iraq and you wipe it out, Iran is going to take over the entire Middle East because you're going to ruin the balance. It was so simple to me. And actually, they sent a group from the White House to see me because I got so much publicity, that they sent a group from the White House, see Mr. Trump, see if you... I said, fellas, you're going to have Iran take over the Middle East. And that's what's happening. And Iran's going to take over Iraq as sure as you're sitting there. And by the way, Iraq, with the second largest oil reserves anywhere in the world. We lost thousands of lives. We have wounded warriors who I love all over the place. $2 trillion. We have nothing. We got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. And we left. And we have a president, shouldn't have been there. But then we shouldn't have left the way we left. Thank you. I don't even know what she said, but whatever it is. I don't know what she said, but whatever it is. I treat her nicely. Thank you very much. Treat her nicely. Thank you. You know, they have a system now. They'll have 4 people. We were interrupted 4 times one night, a couple of weeks ago. And they'll have 4 people, 1 person at a time, and they'll scream something. And then the next day the press will say, you have thousands of people here tonight. And they'll talk about 3 or 4 people. In that case, it's 1. That person had a very weak voice. What a weak voice. Strange. It's too bad. You know, the funny thing is, I look at Democrats and liberals and conservatives, Republicans. Wouldn't it be good for all of us if we could get together and really make our country great again? Isn't that what we want to do? I'll bet you that if I spoke to that young woman, that quickly, I really think I could convince her that we're all in this together, folks. We want to have a strong country, right? We want to have Pastor, stand up. What a good guy this is. You have been so great to me, and a pastor and a great guy. He has been so great to me. I appreciate it, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you. But you know, if you think about it, and you'll have some that can never be satisfied no matter what. They're just troublemakers, etc., etc. But most people aren't. And they believe something, and I have some very smart friends don't agree with me. They agree on the other side. But I really believe that if you're talking about making America great, we have to be strong. We have to be vigilant. And if we're not vigilant, was the same person. I got to tell you, so far the security is not doing a great job in here, I'll tell you that. That was the same person. You can do very nice, but why don't you get her out? Because honestly, it's inappropriate. So security, strengthen yourself up. See, our country has this kind of security. That's the problem here. All right, get her out. Please, thank you. Treat her very nicely, please, but she should now be taken out. Same person, one person. It's one person. They let her out, they give her a second chance, and the same thing happens. But you would think that everybody, we're all in the same basket, that everybody, every single person, sorry, I have a lot of time. Does everybody have a lot of time today? I don't want the person to be hurt, but I will tell you security is very weak. I can't believe these security people. One person, and we've wasted 5 minutes. All right, get him out. Thank you. So you would think that if we could get together, we'd all be in the same boat. Now, last night we all saw and we witnessed something that I thought was highly inappropriate. In fact, I tweeted, "Is that all there is about the president's speech?" And I wrote something today that I think is very, very salient, very important, and probably not politically correct, but I don't care. You know, we had a situation in California very recently where somebody was making bombs in an apartment. The mother saw him. The mother didn't notice anything wrong. I watched the sister being interviewed. Believe me, in my opinion, she was lying like crazy. I watched that interview. Oh, my brother was such a wonderful guy. I didn't know. And I watched the next door neighbor saying, "Oh, well, we didn't report them because we didn't want to racially profile or we didn't want to profile." Give me a break. We're like the stupid country in so many different ways. Can you imagine what our great leaders of the past would have said with the kind of crap that's happening with us? They didn't want to report them because they thought it was profiling. Oh, okay, they saw bombs. They saw, the pipe bombs. All of this wasn't to build a bathroom. When a bomb is this long, got to put too many of them together for a bathroom, right? And we thought they may be, but we didn't want to racially oh, okay, you're okay, you're innocent. Or how about where the families and the girlfriends and the wives and everything, they go back with World Trade Center. The worse than Pearl Harbor. Because with the World Trade Center, they were killing innocent civilians. At least while it was a dirty, rotten, sneak attack. At least if they were attacked. Wow, that was a hell of... Thank goodness he's on my side. But while it was an attack, at least it was military. But this was an attack on the World Trade Center. So what's happened is we're out of control. We have no idea who's coming into our country. We have no idea if they love us or if they hate us. We have no idea if they want to bomb us. We have no idea what's going on. And then I looked at poll numbers, and I don't mean polls where I'm winning. Those numbers I like looking at. These numbers I hated to look at. And it's very, very sad. I'll go after some of the numbers. 25% of those polls, and this was from the Center for Security Policy, very highly respected group of people who I know, actually. This is people living in this country. 25% of those polls agreed violence against Americans is justified. As Muslims, 25%. 51% is the Muslims living in this country. By the way, I have friends that are Muslims, they're great people. But they know we have a problem. They know we have a real problem. Because something's going on. And we can't put up with it, folks. We can't put up with it. 51%, highly respected number of polling groups, want to be governed according to Sharia. You know what Sharia is. So, I wrote this out. The mainstream media wants to surrender the Constitution. The mainstream media. These people back here, they're the worst. They are so dishonest. No, they're so dishonest. They are so dishonest. I mean, I had one from NBC, a reporter from NBC, and actually another one, I think, from CBS. They actually, in Columbus, Ohio, I had a tremendous crowd, like 10,000 people. It was a love fest. It went on for a long time. Everybody stayed right till the end, right till the end. I had one of the politicians, Kasich, who's just getting, he's a horrible debater. To me, he's a horrible, he made a statement that, they left after 10 minutes. Now, the press was there, they saw it. Nobody says it was a lie. It was a total lie. In fact, I had more people at the end than I had at the beginning. Nobody's leaving. Nobody's leaving here except for the one person that was screaming. So we asked the press to report that it was a total lie, and they don't want to do that because it's not the thing to do. You know, we get the biggest crowds. They don't want to show this crowd tonight. They're not going to show all the people outside trying to get in. They don't do that. They have the cameras right on my face. I say, fan the crowd just to show them. Look at all the people over here. It's a record in the history of this ship. But they don't show it. They don't show it. No. And I say fan it. I say fan it, and they never, ever fan it. I say fan the crowd. They never fan it. And yet, I guarantee you, that young woman that just got taken out after interrupting us 3 times, I guarantee the cameras will be on her. I guarantee. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So we talk about the media, and by the way, some of the media is terrific. But most of it, 70%, 75%, is absolute dishonest, absolute scum. Remember that. Scum. They're totally dishonest people. I had one the other day where I finished the speech and they said, Trump was interrupted and he left early. I spoke for 45, 50 minutes. I then answered questions, and then I went around to, everybody knew it was false. Amazingly, there's a media group that calls the media. And the next day they did the most beautiful story about what a lie it was from NBC. She's back there. Little Katie, she's back there. What a lie it was. No, what a lie. Katie Turner. What a lie it was from NBC to have written that was a total lie. And they did a story where I didn't know they had a group like this, where they actually criticized the media. And they said it was a total lie. And I loved it. And then other people pick it up. You know, it's NBC, so somebody picks it up. Third-rate reporter. Remember that, third-rate. Third-rate. So I said here, the mainstream media wants to surrender our Constitution and our constitutional rights. And I don't want that. I want ISIS to surrender. Okay? I want ISIS to surrender. Very simple. It's very simple. So here's what happened. It's been a little bit of a controversial. It's been a great day because the poll numbers are through the roof. I like that. But I have more, you know, I wish we could call. Is there any way we can call the election tomorrow? Wouldn't we love that? Now they're coming at us in full force. They're coming, not coming at me. They're coming at all of us. They're coming at all of us. Because, you know, we have a noisy majority. They used to call it the quiet majority. People are fed up. They're fed up with incompetence. They're fed up with stupid leaders. They're fed up with stupid people. They are fed up with stupid people. Where our president makes a deal for Sergeant Bergdahl, a dirty, rotten, no-good traitor. Who, think of it, they knew he was a traitor because a general and a colonel went to see his group. 6 people were killed looking for him, okay? 6 people were killed, young, unbelievable. I watched the parents on television. I've seen the parents, but I watched the parents on television. Devastated, we'll never be the same. They left to try and bring him back. He left. He deserted. You know, in the old days when we were a strong country, it would be boom, gone. That was called desertion. Now, the other day I heard they won't even do anything to him. Can you believe it? They think he's going to get away with nothing. He's going to have nothing. So he left. Oh, they treated him pretty rough, though. He got in there. He said, I shouldn't have done this. This isn't working out the way I thought. Anyway, so we get him back, and here's the deal we make. We get a dirty, no-good traitor. 6 people killed, trying to find. They get 5 of their greatest killers that they've been after, think of it, for 6 years. In fact, I hear 9 years. So they get these, that right now have gone, they're out on the battlefield, trying to kill everybody in front of them, including you folks, I hate to tell you. So we get Bergdahl, and they get 5 of the killers that they've wanted for many years. That's the way we do it. The Iran deal. We gave them $150 billion. It's called amateur night. We gave them $150 billion. 24 days. 24 days. We think there's something wrong. 24 days we have to wait. But it's much longer than that because there's a whole process before the clock starts ticking. So it could be forever. But the best is where they have the right to self-inspect. Are you doing nuclear weapons over there? Oh, we'll inspect tomorrow. Oh, no, we're not doing nuclear weapons. You know, the Persians are great negotiators. Always have been. And somebody would say that's profiling. Trust me, they're great negotiators. And Kerry is a horrible negotiator, and Obama is a horrible negotiator. Horrible. It's a horrible negotiator. These people are horrible. I always thought Obama would be a unifier. I never thought of him as being like a divider, because I said, you know what? I don't think he's going to be a good president. I backed McCain. He lost, by the way. And, you know, I don't blame McCain for losing because a lot of bad things were happening. That was a tough one. But I backed McCain. He lost. I backed Romney. He should have won, but he sort of went away on vacation or something the last month and he lost. And I said, this time I'm going to do it myself. We're not going to lose. We're not going to lose. We're not going to lose. And the recent Fox poll that just came out has me beating Hillary very easily one-on-one. I love that. That's so important. So we put out a statement today. We watched this, and it's impossible to watch this gross incompetence that I watched last night. And we put out a statement a little while ago, and these people are going crazy. They won't report it properly. Shall I read you the statement? Donald J. Trump is calling for, now listen, you got to listen to this one because this is pretty heavy stuff, and it's common sense, and we have to do it. Remember the poll numbers. 25%, 51%. Remember the poll numbers. Okay, so remember this. So listen. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We have no choice. We have no choice. We have no choice. According to Pew Research, among others, there is a great hatred toward Americans by large segments of the Muslim population. Most recently, a poll from Center for Security Policy released data showing 25% of those polled agreed that violence against Americans, these are people that are here, by the way, people here, 25, not 1%. By the way, 1% would be unacceptable. 1% is unacceptable. 25% of those polled agreed that violence against Americans here in the United States is justified as part, think of that, as part of the global jihad. They want to change your religion. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not going to happen. As part of the global jihad, and 51% of those polled agreed that Muslims in America should have the choice of being governed according to Sharia. You know what Sharia is? 51%. Sharia authorizes, and look, this is, it's terrible. Sharia authorizes such atrocities as murder against non-believers who won't convert, beheadings, and more unthinkable acts that pose great harm to Americans, especially women. You look, especially women. Tough stuff. And we have a president that won't even mention the term. And you're talking about numbers like this. Mr. Trump stated, without looking at the various polling data, it's obvious to anybody the hatred is beyond comprehension of such a big portion. Where the hatred comes from and why, we will have to determine. We're going to have to figure it out. We have to figure it out. We can't live like this. It's going to get worse and worse. You're going to have more World Trade Centers. It's going to get worse and worse, folks. We can be politically correct and we can be stupid, but it's going to get worse and worse. Until we are able to determine and understand this problem and the dangerous threat it poses, our country cannot be the victim of horrendous attacks by people that believe only in jihad. These are people who only believe in jihad. They don't want our system. They don't want our system. And have no sense of reason or respect for human life. They have no respect for human life. That's all right. He sounds like he's very exhausted. It's all right. He's tired. So, they have no respect for human life. So we have to do something. Now, we can be weak, we can be ineffective, we can be foolish. It's all right. That's all right. I'm sure he's a nice person. I'm sure he can be reasoned with. Be very gentle. Whenever I'm tough, the press says, oh, he was nasty. Whenever I say be very gentle, they say, he's not as strong as we thought he was. Can't win. So I try and cut it down the middle. I try and cut it down. Be very nice. So, prior to Paris, which was a disaster, which, by the way, if some of the people in those places where it was slaughter, absolute slaughter, had guns, you wouldn't have had the carnage that you had in Paris. You wouldn't have had that carnage. If they had guns, you wouldn't have had that carnage. So important, the Second Amendment, we have to preserve it and cherish it, and we can't let these weak leaders diminish it. If they had guns in Paris, if 5 people in that room, Paris and France has probably the toughest gun laws anywhere in the world. And it was like target practice. Come over here, boom. Come over here, boom. People are sitting by the hundreds, and many others are going to be dying. They're sitting in a hospital, in many cases, waiting to die. Now, same thing a few days ago in California. No guns. We didn't have guns. The bad guys had the guns. And these young people, and I tell the press, you got to stop calling them masterminds. These are dirty, rotten scum. These aren't masterminds. Remember the guy in Paris with the big dirty hat? Remember the guy in Paris? The mastermind. I was watching all the network. I won't mention who, but some of them disgusted me. The mastermind is on the loose. The master. And we have kids that are watching the internet, and they want to be masterminds. And then you wonder, why do we lose all these kids? They go over there. They're young. They're impressionable. They go over. They want to join ISIS. And we have our anchors. I think I got them mostly stopped. Did you notice that? I don't hear it too much. But they say, the young mastermind. Oh, he's brilliant. Young man, he's brilliant. I don't even think he's got a high IQ. I call him, in Paris, I called him the guy with the dirty, filthy hat. Okay? Not a smart guy, a dummy. Puts people in there, a mastermind. Bing, bing, bing. They start shooting everybody. You got to be a mastermind. So the press has to be responsible. They're not being responsible because we're losing a lot of people because of the internet. And we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We've got to maybe do something with the internet because they are recruiting by the thousands. They're leaving our country. And then when they come back, we take them back. Oh, come on back. Where were you? I was fighting for ISIS. Oh, come on back. Go home. Enjoy yourself. When they leave our country and they go to fight for ISIS or any of the other groups, they never come back. They never can come back. They never can come back. They can never, ever, ever, ever come back. It's over. How about that? And now they become radicalized. They're totally radicalized. And how about the woman? She was in Pakistan, then Saudi Arabia. She comes in on an engagement deal. And she radicalized the guy. Probably a guy couldn't get women. I don't know what the hell his problem was. It's probably the first woman he's ever had. I don't know what was going on. But he became radicalized quickly. Notice how easy it is? He becomes radicalized. And then they go on a spree. Folks, those days are over. Those days are over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. Yes, we have to look at mosques, and we have to respect mosques. But yes, we have to look at mosques. We have no choice. We have to see what's happening. Because something is happening in there. Man, there's anger. There's anger. And we have to know about it. We can't be these people that are sitting back like in the World Trade Center, like so many different things. We can't be people that knew what was going on 2 weeks ago in California. Probably for months they knew what was going on. And they didn't want to tell anybody. We can't be that. We have to be strong. When we see violations, you have to report those violations, and quickly. You don't worry about profiling. I promise I will defend you from profiling. I promise. So when I started this whole quest, who knew it was going to turn into this? It's been an amazing thing. No matter where I go, I have tremendous crowds, packed. We went to Dallas, 20,000 people in Dallas, 25,000 people. I mean, it's Mobile, Alabama, 35,000 people. here, every time I come to South Carolina, every time I go to North Carolina, every time I go to Iowa, New Hampshire, Virginia, wherever I go, Florida. No, we have crowds that are maxed. I mean, the only problem we have is the size of the room. Thousands of people outside trying to get in. Usually I do a double. I go talk to them for a while, which I wouldn't say exactly love doing after the first one. But there's an unbelievable love in these rooms. All the same. I love you too. I love you. Stand up. Who said it? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, darling. I love you too. There's an unbelievable love in all of these places. Oklahoma, 20,000 people standing in a park on quick notice. There's an unbelievable love. And there's an unbelievable love of the country. We want to see good things. We don't want to be bad people. We don't want to be tough and nasty. And we believe in the Constitution more than anybody. But we can't let people use and abuse our rights. We can't let people kill us. They want to kill us. They want to destroy us. We can't let it happen. We just can't let it happen. And I have a friend who's a very, very successful man. And I went to one event. He came with me. We had 24,000 people. And this guy's really a tough cookie. He's a great financial guy. One of the guys I definitely used to negotiate with Japan, China. But believe me, you are going to be in good shape if that happens. We won't have these characters. You know, this whole thing with all of these guys. By the way, I'm the only one that's self-funding my campaign. Everyone else is controlled. Only one. I'm the only one. Only one. I'm self-funding my campaign. And these other guys, you know, they're getting millions and millions of dollars. Some people I know. I had one guy came and wanted to give me a lot of money. I said, honestly, I can't take it. I don't want to do it. I can't take it. Which is very sort of like for me to not take money. My whole life I've been taking. Now I'm sort of like, what am I doing? But came in and I said, so what are you going to do? I don't want your money. And he said, I got to go someplace else. They're like gamblers. They're like gamblers. Got to go. I said, but you like me best. I like you best, but I'm going to go someplace else because they want to be poor. They want to. So they give millions. Let me tell you, hey, who is more than me? I gave millions to these guys. Nobody knows the system better than me. I knew it from the other side. Don't forget, I was the fair-haired boy. I was like the establishment. They'd all come to me, and I'd give them all money. I'd write checks sometimes to senators, whatever the max, bing, bing, bing. I used to say, senators, don't come to my office. Anybody that's a U.S. senator and calls me, we'll send you a campaign contribution. But you know what? I'll tell you something. In the end, the people that give these millions of dollars to these horrible, corrupt PACs, they're corrupt. They totally control Bush and Rubio, and I won't say Cruz because he's been very nice to me. Nah, but he's been nice. He's got to hit me first. Once he hits me, I promise you. No, I've been nice to Christie, but he really hit me today. Chris Christie. I mean, I don't know. He's a friend of mine. But he's not doing well in the polls, and he really, really hit me today. He hated this. And yet, he said anybody could come. You got to look at some of his statements from the past. But he really hit me on the whole thing with we have to stop the Muslims until we find out what's going on. Does that make sense, by the way? Until we find out. And he talked about that's an experience, you know, in other words, he has experience, right? But that's the statement of an inexperienced man. The statement I made about we have to stop people that want to kill us from coming in. Does that sound like an experience? So Chris, who's a friend of mine, he hit me hard. And I said, I got to hit him at least once. So I won't do this a lot, but look, here's the story. The George Washington Bridge. He knew about it. Hey, how do you have breakfast with people every day of your lives? They're closing up the largest bridge in the world, the biggest in the United States, traffic flowing during rush hour. People couldn't get across for 6-7 hours. Ambulances, fire trucks. They're with them all the time, the people that did it. They never said, hey, boss, we're closing up the George Washington Bridge tonight. No, they never said. They're talking about the weather, right? Then, so he knew about it. He knew about it. He totally knew about it. He's got a very friendly group of people over there that they don't think so, but I don't know. Look, it's called life. You got to be smart in life. I would say there's less than 1% chance. It could be, but I doubt it. He knew about it. They mentioned. They didn't mention at one of their meetings. I think they had breakfast like every day or every other day. They didn't say, Chris, tonight we're closing up the George Washington Bridge because the mayor of a certain area is against you. Oh, okay. They didn't mention. Nobody believes that. Number 2, 9 downgrades of the state. 9 downgrades. It's a disaster. I have property over there. The taxes are through, I'll use an expression, coming out of my ears, okay? Tremendous taxes over there. You had 9 downgrades. You had Christie, so friendly with President Obama during the flood. I actually called. I said, let me ask you, is he going to vote for Obama? I thought he was going to vote for Obama. I don't know. I think he possibly did. And Romney, I was very disappointed. One of the reasons I was disappointed is he called Christie and they had dinner right after the election. If Christie did that to me, I would have never spoken to him again. I would have never done it. So when he talks about lack of experience, I built this incredible company. I filed papers where everyone's saying, wow, that is unbelievable. I would have probably filed them even if I didn't run because, I built a great, great company. Tremendous cash, tremendous assets, tremendous net worth, very little debt, unbelievable cash flow. And I filed. Everybody said, number 1, he won't run. And I ran. I took a deep breath. I went, let's go, to my wife. And we came down that escalator, right? The famous escalators. Hopefully, in many years, that'll be a very famous scene because we will have turned around our country and that'll be a positive note, okay? Hopefully. But then they said, oh, well, he announced. So all these talking heads, most of whom are not even smart people, believe me. Then they said, well, they went to Ivy League College. So did I go to Ivy League College. They went to this. Most of them did go to Ivy League colleges, by the way. But anyway, but they say they're brilliant. One's brilliant because he wears glasses, Like Perry. Remember Perry? Remember, we don't want them. But what happens is they say, well, he'll never file Form A. That's basically where you sign your life away. I filed Form A. Then they'll say, well, he'll never sign his financial statement because maybe he's not as rich as everybody thinks. Now, what they don't know, and then they said, and if he does, he'll ask for many, many delays because you're entitled to 45-day delays, and you can delay it till ever. And he'll delay it till after the election. I said, no. So I filed it ahead of schedule. And what happened? Remember? They went down. They couldn't believe it. It was much, much, much better than anybody ever envisioned. I built a great company. And the reason, honestly, worth billions and billions of dollars. Remember that low debt, great cash flow, and the greatest assets, Doral, Trump Tower, the Trump Building, big chunk of the Bank of America building in San Francisco, 1290 Avenue, there's so many great things. Land all over, land on the Potomac, land all over. In North Carolina, I have a great piece of property. Trump National Golf Club, some of you know it, great, right in the best location. And what happens? So I filed. Everyone said, oh, I can't believe it. Then they said, well, maybe he won't do so well with the polls. And, before I went, people never believed I was going to run. They never thought I was going to run. And I told the story the other night for really the first real time. But my wife said to me, if you run, you will win, don't you? She's very smart. No, it's funny. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, if you don't run, you're never going to poll well before because nobody believes you're going to run. So if they do polls, like they did these early polls, they weren't great before I announced. She said, no, the only way you're going to get a poll number, you got to announce, because nobody believes. Even though they say you're running, it doesn't matter. Nobody believes you're running. So I said, all right, well, I'm getting these lousy early numbers. I'm saying, I don't know. I don't want to run and then find out it doesn't work. I don't want to be embarrassed like Lindsey Graham and all these guys who have nothing. It's true. So I said, all right, let's take it. So we go down on the escalator. You know what I did? You remember? I took a deep breath. Because I'm telling you, and you know what I'm talking about, the press down there looked like the Academy Awards. There were so many cameras. I have never seen anything like it. The entire atrium of Trump Tower was packed with cameras and press. And I just said, let's go, to my wife. I took a deep breath. I like her. I took a deep breath. And I went down. And I talked about lots of things, including illegal immigrations. And illegal immigration was such a big subject. And I'm telling you, had I not brought it up, and it's turned out to be, and I took heat. I took heat like nobody has ever taken heat. Rush Limbaugh said, the most incredible incoming that I've ever seen a human being endure. And he said, and then he doubled down a week later, because I was right. And now illegal immigration is one of the biggest. And then you had the killing of Kate, and you had the killing of Jamil, and the killing recently in California of a 66-year-old, think of it, 66-year-old veteran, female, raped, sodomized, and killed by an illegal immigrant, and many, many more. It's a huge problem. And they take our jobs, a lot of other things. So all of a sudden, everyone's saying, wow. And now the polls start. I go and I announce. And from almost the beginning, you've seen I've been at the top, like from almost day one. It's almost day one. And the reason is, look, the reason I tell you certain things, and the reason I talk about, you know, what I've done and lots of good things. I do a little thing, Woolman Ice Skating Rink. City couldn't get it built for 8 years. They were in there for like $20 million. They couldn't get it done. I went to the mayor of New York. I said, Ed Gudge, I'll get it done like quick. He didn't like it because he didn't want to be shown up. I said, that's okay, I'll do. And if it costs more than $2 million, I'll pay for it. I got it built for peanuts. Got it done in 4 months. And we had ice skating in Central Park, and they still run it. I mean, I did another one. I did a bigger version of that recently, Ferry Point, out in the Bronx. They were having, things been under construction for anywhere between 20 and 30 years. They couldn't get it done. I got it done in a year. It's operating now. It's very successful. That's what I do. And that's what we need. But that's what we need in our country. I'm building on Pennsylvania Avenue an incredible hotel, one of the great hotels of the world, in the old post office site. Think of it. I got it in the Obama administration. Everybody was bidding. Everybody wanted it. One of the most sought-after projects in the history of the GSA, General Services. And I got it. Can you imagine me getting it from the Obama administration? Because the GSA, who are really professionals, they want to make sure, number one, it got built, so they wanted strong financials. And they also wanted a great plan. So we came up with Ivanka and my kids, we came up with this incredible plan. The job is under budget, ahead of schedule. It was going to open up in 17, sometime during the year 17. Now it's going to open up probably in September of 16, right before the election. On Pennsylvania Avenue. And this is the kind of mindset you need. Carl Icahn, one of the great businessmen, and others have endorsed me. We have trillions and trillions of dollars offshore. Pfizer is leaving the United States. In the old days, somebody would leave for, frankly, South Carolina. They'd leave New York or Florida or someplace where the taxes are lower. They'd leave for North Carolina. They'd leave. Today, they leave this country for other countries. So we're now losing Pfizer. We're going to lose many of our great companies. We have $2.5 trillion offshore at least. And everybody agrees it should come home. The Democrats and Republicans. For 3 years, they can't make a deal. They can't make a deal. Because there's such gridlock. There's no leadership in Washington. We will make this country so great. We have people, and I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. Somebody said something to me the other day, and what I really want to do, I want to be, it's all right. Don't worry, forget it. What we want to do and what I want to do, I want to be the people's president. I don't work, think of this. I don't work for any of the lobbyists. I don't work for any of these people that are leading our country in the wrong direction. We don't. Thank you. The best thing that I've seen in going around, and the thing that I've seen more than anything else, is how smart the people are. They don't believe those people in the back that write with fork. I'm telling you, they don't believe them. The people are really smart. What's given me more inspiration than any other single thing are the people that I've met, the incredible people of this country. We're going to make America great again, and you know what? We're going to make it greater than ever before. And I love you all, and thank you very much. Thank you very much, South Carolina. Great. Thank you.
We will make America great again.